Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Ben Dawning, the banjo man from up north, and recently one of the members from my Banjo Adventures Discord community is currently learning how to play Clawhammer Banjo from scratch, and they are struggling a little bit on chord changes. Now what they're finding, I'll play you a recording shortly of their playing, is when they're transitioning from open G to D7 to a C while doing the basic frailing strum, they are pausing in between each chord change, and it's having a negative effect on the basic frailing strum. In fact, it's slowing it down so much that it's creating long pauses, 2 or 3 second pauses. So I'll play an audio clip now of their playing. Put it on screen, and so the audio clip you just heard is from the Gauntlet Tier 2 Challenge 3. It's a video I posted a while ago, and it's full of different challenges at increasing difficulty. Now the audio clip, I'll put it on the screen, the tab on the screen now, should sound something like this. Now what you probably heard in the audio clip is when they're going from the G to the D7, it sounds more like. And then when they go from the D7 to the C, you get another long pause. So the question is, how do we get rid of them long pauses? How do we increase and improve our left hand abilities? So let's look at it this way. So first of all, we're going to add some time sticks onto the tab that you can see on the screen. Doggy. And let's just visualize them pauses. So let's assume that the basic frailing strum at the start is half a second long. And then when the transition from the G, open G chord to the D7, it's taking a 2 second, you're hearing a 2 second gap. Because obviously it takes time and you have to look what you're doing. But if you listen to the audio recording, once they're inside the D7 chord, it's nice and clean, it's loud, it's bright, there's no muted strings, so you got a good accurate fretting hand. But once they're in the D7, they're back to the nice and quick, clean, half a second basic frailing strums, but then the big gap comes when they're going from that D7 to a C, where you've got a 3 second pause. But if you listen again to the recording, you'll hear that once they're in the C chord, you get a nice quick basic frailing strum, and then when they come out of the C chord, no problem whatsoever. Again, it's half a second basic frailing strum. So I'll play the audio clip again while I keep this on the screen, and then you can hear the difference and you'll be able to visualize the pauses. So I'll play it now. So the question is, how do we get rid of them pauses? So let's just identify the bottlenecks first of all. So the first pause happens between the G and the D7. Second pause happens between the D7 and the C, which makes sense because, your left hand is doing quite a bit there. It's very subtle because, we're only going from, obviously, open G to D7, and then we're going to move from there to a C. So we're only talking very slight movements of the left hand, but without experience and repetition, and if you're not doing that every day, it is new and it's unfamiliar to us. So even though it is very slight, it can be quite challenging. And also as well, doing that at the same time as that and maintaining it, it's like our two hands are doing two different things and trying to work together, but they're working against each other at the same time. So the first pause is caused by 2 seconds, and then the long pause at 3 seconds. So we want to obviously get rid of these pauses. So how do we do it? So the two factors that are causing us to stop and slow down. Number one is the anticipation, the actual knowing that this chord change is coming up in our mind. It's enough of a distraction to put us off doing the basic frailing strum. Just the anticipation alone. And then the second factor is we've got a skill confliction. Now if you listen to the recording, they've got a really nice solid basic frailing strum, got accurate striking of each string. Once they're in the chord, it's a nice clean sounding chord, no strings are being muted. And then once they're in the chord, they can still maintain that speed and accuracy. And even the C chord, you know, when they play the C chord, it's nice and clean, no muted strings. Once they're in the C chord, nice nice basic Frailing strum. And then when they come out the C chord, no problem. So the skill confliction there is we've got one skill which is the left hand trying to do that, the left hand's trying to keep up with this hand. So for that reason, you know, you've got two different abilities of skill. You've got your left hand, which is down here, that's trying to keep up with the right hand. And you've got your right hand up here that's frailing away, that's obviously doing its own thing because that's more experienced. So what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? So we need to slow everything down to match our slowest bottleneck. So we're up here, aren't we? So we've got our frailing hand, which is speeding away. We've got our left hand, which is crawling behind. So you want to bring that down to match your left hand. You want to bring it down to your slowest bottleneck. And if that's 3 seconds, you have to slow down your basic Frailing strum right down to 3 seconds to match your slowest bottleneck. And by doing that, it removes the two factors. It removes the anticipation because you've got more time now to see it come in. You've got more time to get your hand ready. And it gets rid of that skill confliction because you're bringing it down. So you're leveling out your skills. Albeit, no, you're leveling it. In an ideal world, you want to bring your left hand up there as fast as possible, but it's not always that easy. Sometimes you have to come down and then bring your skills and your speeds up together. So if you look at it like this, big sister's trying to teach your little brother how to cross the road. The worst way to show him is by running across to show him how fast that she can do it. That doesn't help anything, and it's not going to really help the little boy. If anything, it's going to make him even more anxious and scared to cross the road. So the best way to teach him is to hold his hand, walk him across. So in this scenario, the big sister is your frailing hand, and the little brother is your left hand trying to keep up. So by slowing yourself down to match your left hand, and then you walk together slowly, you build up that experience and that skill together. And then eventually, once you've done that, you know, you can run across the road together, no problem at all. So again, it's persistence, practice, repetition and rest. If you look at the numbers, how we've got there, you've got the half second, then the 2 second gap, then the half second, then the 3 second gap. So the way to combat, you know, that skill factor there in banjo terms is by increasing those 0.5 second nice quick. You need to slow that right down so it matches your slowest bottleneck, or you know, get it as close to it as you can. So we're taking them 0.5s and we're bringing them all back up to 3s, so we're slowing everything down to match. And we're going to do that consistently because timing is key, remember. Do it nice clean timing, and then we're going to gradually build the speed up together as one. Yeah, so speed everything up together gradually over time. And to do this, I would probably, if you can use metronomes, go for it. I could never use metronomes. I think you guys know that. But if you can use a metronome, it might help. So let's assume scenario 1. So Monday, you start off doing everything with that 3 second gap. So 1. See what's happening? You're removing the anticipation, and you're leveling out your skill gap. You're bringing your frailing hands to slow right down to match your left hand. And then by Tuesday, you can speed that up a little bit. Wednesday, a little bit faster. Thursday, Friday. These are just like, you know, examples of how you could speed it up together. By Saturday, and then by Sunday, you could be at, you know, half a speed quicker. You could be up here by Saturday, you know, because you're building that speed up together. So if you're using a metronome, obviously you'll do it in beats per minute. So maybe set your metronome to start with 40 beats a minute and then work on that. And then Tuesday, you know, increase the beats per minute by 5. Then Wednesday, increase it even more. You see where I'm going with this? Then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then you can increase it that way and just build your speed up slowly and together that way. You don't have to do it every day. If you've got loads of time spare, you could, you know, spend half an hour now and then give yourself 30 minutes rest, then come back in another hour, then increase your beats per minute by, you know, 5 and just see how you get on. Now the thing about this is it's the rest. I always say, like, practice, repetition and rest. The rest is so important because it allows time for our brains and our hands to just digest what we've been learning, what we've been practicing. And I don't know the science behind it, I don't know why it works, but trust me, it does. You practice for a good 20-30 minutes. After you've done that, put your banjo down, go do something else for a good 45 minutes to an hour, and then when you come back, just notice how different it feels, because it's our primitive monkey brains, they're only designed for eating berries in caves. They're not designed for all this fancy magic stuff with our hands and banjos. But with repetition, it's amazing what we can do. And with this skill, it's no different. It's just repetition, and the key is rest. So practice 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Once you've done that, put your banjo down, go do a bit of gardening, or go wash your car, or go to the shops, or do something different. Come back in about an hour, pick your banjo up, give it another 20 minutes, and just make a mental note of how you've digested that information and how your speed slowly comes up together. And you can do that obviously by increasing the beats per minute on the metronome, or just knowing in your own mind that, you know, things eventually start to feel more natural and more controlled. And like I said, once you build them core speeds, build it up gradually together, you know, that's all you have to do. So good luck with that. Hopefully that made sense, and if it did, let me know.